and welcome everybody. I'll go ahead and share my screen now so we can go ahead and get started. So we will be doing a presentation on using AI tools. And in this presentation, actually, we will go over basically, well, they're going to make four things. We are going to show you how to make an interactive worksheet. We are going to show you how to make a printable worksheet with audio and how to make an audio PowerPoint to teach grammar, and then also how to modify a text to create a worksheet for something that you find online. And when you do this presentation, I have the notes. And as you can see here, I'm just going to scroll down really quickly. It's really detailed. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to bore you by reading this. This is actually all the prompts, the how-to, step-by-step, the playbook, the lesson plan, whatever, on how to do everything we're doing today. So you can access this. I will put this, I think I already put it in the chat window, but I'll put one more time, and you can access this and follow along. It's a Google Doc. It's in read only right now. It should be in read only mode. And so you can kind of follow along, and this is just everything that I'm going to talk about. Usually on my screen, what you're going to see is actually the app that we are using. Okay. And for example, I'll show you the first two apps. And if I could scroll down here, the first app that we're going to look at is, you probably know how to use, is Canva. So we'll look at how to use Canva and 11 Labs to create a listening activity for vocabulary in just a couple of seconds. And then also in the first part, we are going to show you how to create a word puzzle, like a crossword puzzle, using Google Sheets that can also be used in LibreOffice and Excel. So that's going to be the first part. So you'll often see my screen like this, but if you want to follow along, you can just kind of toggle back. And sometimes I will refer to this. I will go through the prompts really quickly, and you can see what we're making. First of all, though, I'm curious, what is your first language? So it could be English, it could be Spanish, it could be Korean, it could be Chinese. Can you type in the box what your language is in the chat box? Vietnamese, okay, awesome. Korean, Khmer, oh wow, it's just in Cambodia. Spanish. All right, Korean, Filipino, cool. Filipinos, well, that's kind of a tricky one because there's so many, right? Tagalog and so many. English, awesome, great. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is actually make a worksheet. And I actually encourage you that you can actually, if you're bilingual, you could actually make all these activities, not only in English, but in your own language. So what we're doing today is applicable for any language, and you could also make it applicable for any level. So you can make it from A1 to C2, and it's very easy. But first, I just want to go over a real quick introduction to the topic. So the main thing I want to talk about is how we will make four things today. First, we're going to create a set vocabulary worksheet. Then we're going to show you how to make a random list word puzzle and where to get the word list. Then we're going to show you how to use AI to explain vocabulary and context to save you a lot of time. This is something that I do for my website, Ello, every day. And then we're going to look at AI generated text. And when we finish, we're actually going to give an English test to the AI engines and see who's the best. We're going to compare 5 AI engines, the big 5 really, and see how good are they at actually producing language and writing a conversation. But before we start, I just want to talk about a couple key points. We are now in the third phase of technology in education. My background is in technology. I have a master's degree in instructional design. I am the creator of Elo.org, and I have just been in love with using technology in my classroom now for over 25 years, showing my age. And I like to tell this story. This is a true story, okay? When I was in high school in 1986, I think before many of you were born, I was in the last class of a certain technology at my high school. This technology is no longer taught in high school. Can you guess what it is? Anybody in the chat box? I was the last class, and the teacher was so worried because he knew his job was over because we were not going to use this technology anymore. And the answer is I was in the last typing class at my university. They taught us how to use a typewriter, a manual typewriter. And I remember the teacher lecturing us every day saying that if we didn't know how to type, if we didn't use typewriters, we would no longer know how to write. And that word processors, which were coming around the corner with computers, word processors and computers were going to ruin writing. That once we stopped using typewriters and started using computers or word processors back then, that we would no longer be good writers. And actually, that was not true. And you could argue that we're actually better at typing and writing now because of computers. Back then, nobody knew how to type. That's why we had to take the course. Now we have keyboarding courses, of course. But the whole point of this is that as a teacher that specializes in technology, I think it's very interesting that everybody is so afraid of AI. And I can assure you, AI is incredibly limited in what it can do. And the role of the teacher is still needed and is not going to go away. But what's going to happen is the role will slightly change. And how we're going to use AI is going to be different. And what's happened is we went from first being a consumer in the digital era. That was 1980 to 2000. So publishing companies would create new products, digital products, electronic products, and we would use them in our lessons. The easiest ones would be CDs, cassette tapes, things like that, videos. But then it was so difficult, expensive, time consuming, and skill specific to make those materials, nobody could do it. So only the publishers could create it. So as teachers, we were only consumers. And you could only create something if a big publishing company asked you to create something. And even then, that publishing company would do all the heavy lifting. All the technology would be needed on their part. Then from 2001 to 2020, we switched to the creator internet era. That's my era. So that's when I created my website Ello. So suddenly now everything changed. Teachers actually had access to accessible tools to create their own materials. And there has been a proliferation of this on the internet. And it's still happening. We're still somewhat in the creator stage, as we will see today. But we've actually switched into a new era. Now we are in the curator AI era. And this, by the way, someone got typewriters. Yeah, nice one. So now we're in the curator AI era. And that means now we don't necessarily create anything. What we do is we act as a curator. Now, if you don't know what a curator is somebody who works, for example, at a museum. And the curator selects what art is in the museum. Because in an art museum, there's limited space. And so the curator decides what art is worthy of going on the wall. That is what we are now as teachers. We are now curators. We are the ones that have to choose what to put on the wall, or in other words, in our classroom or in front of our students. We choose. We don't have to create anymore. And so this is a new exciting time for educators because now we can decide what we want our students to do. But you still need a curator. You can't have an art museum without a curator. You have to have somebody who chooses what goes on the wall. And that's kind of the similar situation that we're in today. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to have some fun. We're going to create some activities and we're going to be curators and creators and decide what we want to present to our students. Now, the first thing we're going to make is we are going to make a worksheet. Now you can access this by going to this link right here. You can copy this. I'll put this in the chat window if you want, and I'll show you how you can make a copy. So This is a very easy task that you can make in literally seconds. I mean, it doesn't take that long at all to make. And this is a simple worksheet where the student will do two main tasks. The first task is they will have to match the word with the fruit. And if you print this out, you can have the student write it down, right? You could have them maybe draw a line if you want, but in this case, we want them to actually write the words. And then in task two, the student will listen to the audio and then in what order are the words spoken in the conversation. So we need now to create audio for this. And what's great about this is you're going to see with AI, we can create multiple listenings for the same worksheet. And we could actually adjust it by level. We can adjust it by linguistic task. We can choose how we want to adapt this one simple worksheet. Now, before I actually show you how to make the conversation and the audio, for those of you that aren't familiar with Canva, I think most people are, in the chat box, can you put yes, put Y if you use Canva, and can you put in if you don't use Canva? You know, Canva was one of the first tools that I showed in my ed tech tutorials like 10, maybe 10 years ago. And it's now like everybody uses it. So it's like very common. Yeah. So yes. Yeah. So everybody now uses Canva. It's amazing how quickly that changes. Again, 10 years ago, I would show teachers Canva. I was an early adopter and they would go, whoa. And now I can't even introduce Canva because everyone's like, yeah, we already know how to use it. Okay, so anyway, just in case you haven't used it, if I need to find an image, I can actually use Canva to help me. So let's see, I need one more fruit. I have grapes, apples, watermelon, bananas, kiwi, strawberry, pears, oranges. I need one more. Can you guys give me a fruit? What fruit is missing? What fruit can I add here? Any ideas? I need one more fruit. Huh, I'm stumped. Any ideas? Mango. There we go. Thanks. That's a good one. Oh, I like that mango. So I'll do mango. And then there it is. So I click on it. I have the pro account, so it's easier for me to get more images. And voila, so now I'm done. So as you can see, it's so easy to make something like this. And then I just have to do it right here, type it in, and I'm done. And in this shared activity, I already have the template for you. So if you want to make your own one about fruit or sports or clothes or food or whatever, subjects in school, you can make your own using the template. And we're going to show you how to make a simple listening task. So let's say we think, okay, the students, for them to learn the words, we want them to hear the words in conversation. So let's create some audio for this. Now we could easily do this in Audacity. We could easily write our own conversation, or we could actually have AI do both for us. So let's go ahead and do that first. So what I'm going to do is go to my prompt here. And so I have a series of 8 prompts. And I can go to ChatGPT, Copilot, DeepSeek, Gemini, doesn't matter, really doesn't matter. I'm going to read through these slowly so you can follow and see what the prompts are. Now, sometimes it's best to do all the prompts at once. In this case, that's true. Sometimes it's best to do the prompts one by one, and we'll see how to do that next. In this case, you can do the prompts all in one. So task 1 is write a short talk with a speaker talking about what blank they like. Okay, so I'm going to change this to fruits. So this is our key topic. We're going to do fruits. Now, I could have done sports. I could have done restaurants. Anything would have worked. Use the following selected words in the conversation. So I'm going to say, well, mango, which one person provided, and then we'll do grapes, and then we will do bananas, and then how about pears? So we've got our 4 fruits. Then it says, make a talk about 100 words in length, write 1 paragraph for each selected word, use the word at least 4 times in the paragraph. So we want natural repetition. So they're going to hear apple, 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 grape, 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 mango, mango, mango. So we're going to help with language acquisition. Use follow for. Oh, sorry, I got to rewrite that. For 2 of the paragraphs, have the speaker like the selected item. So that means in 2 of the paragraphs, they like the fruit. And for 2 of the paragraphs, have the speaker dislike the selected item. So that means they don't like it. Make the conversation very simple. Use easy vocabulary and grammar for A2 beginner English level students. So now I'm just going to take this. And for this one, I'll use ChatGPT. I think because I already did it. So I'm going to go to ChatGPT. And I already have an account. I'm going to go ahead and log into my account here. If I can log in. There it is, ChatGPT. So I will go ahead and now just paste in my prompt and ask it to do this. And it'll take just a second. And here it is. So now I have my conversation, right? Hey, today I want to talk about fruits I like and don't like. I really like mangoes. I don't like grapes. I like bananas a lot. I don't like pears. So quickly, I've got my script, I'm teaching vocabulary, and I'm doing it in a good way. Like the students are going to hear mango, 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 grape, 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 banana, 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 pear, pear, pear. They're going to hear different grammatical structures, words related to this, and I'm all set. So now, I could record this myself if I wanted to. Or if I want to make a listening task, I can actually go to an app that will record the audio for me. So now I am going to go down to 11 Labs. So real quick, yes or no, do you guys use 11 Labs? Yes or no? Does anybody know about 11 Labs? I got a no, a no, a no. Okay, yay. I was like, I love no's. I love no's because that means I'm not preaching to the choir. I'm actually saying something that you can use. Oh, wow. Okay, so 11 Labs is free. Now, sometimes they might throttle it in some countries because they don't want people to use it too much, the free model. But you're going to get this. It's going to say 11 Labs, go to app, get started for free. And so I'm just actually going to click go to app because I have already created an account with Google. And then I'm going to go instant speech. And then I click on this. And here's one that I've already made. I was testing it, making sure this is going to work. So now I'm going to go and remove the one that I did before and just paste in the new conversation. Here it is. And then I just click generate speech. Now with the free account, you get credits, and I still have a lot of free credits remaining. Or maybe I paid. I think these are free. I think I have the unpaid account. And then you click generate speech, and it'll take just a second. So then I have it. And actually, let me just unshare it. Let me just check real fast here. Let me share. I'm coming right back. I have to share my sound. There we go. Here we go. Sorry. So now you guys can hear it. So here is my conversation.
Hi. Today I want to talk about fruits I like and don't like. I really like mangoes. Mangoes are sweet and juicy. I eat mangoes in the summer. Sometimes I put mangoes in smoothies. I think mangoes are the best fruit. I can eat mangoes every day.
So now, as you can see, we have an audio task. And so if we go back to Canva, the first task could be, okay, just identify what order do you hear the fruit? Or check the fruits the person likes, put a check if they like it, put a X if they don't like it. And then you can repurpose the audio. The second listening, write a word that they say about the fruit. Too sweet, expensive, bitter, favorite, whatever. So you could actually repurpose the audio. So let's say you do this and you're like, oh, that's yay, we made something. Now, this is the power of AI. So I made one and I'm like, you know what? Let's now do it again. So I am now going to take it again. Now, I actually with AI, with ChatGPT, I don't have to do it I don't have to do the whole prompt again, but I'm going to type this in here and now I'm going to change this to bananas, uh, apples. Oh, I already have bananas. Which ones don't I have? Let's see. I have kiwi, oranges, and watermelon I don't have, right? So I'm going to come back here and go kiwi, oranges, and watermelon. Now, this is where AI is really, it really is incredible. So now I can do the same thing and I can make an endless supply of listenings. So now here I have another listening that follows the same model. So I have listening one, and now I can go ahead and make listening two. So now I grab this, I come back to 11 Labs, I change this. I now have a new text. I hit generate speech, and now I have listening number two.
Hi, I want to talk about some fruits I like and don't like. I like kiwi.
And you can, by the way, you could also change the voice. So we had Rachel the first time. So maybe we don't want to do Rachel. Now we want to have a man. So we do Mark, and then we regenerate. We have a different voice. And now we have our second
Hi,
listening.
I want to talk about some fruits I like
Oh,
and
that's the same one, isn't it? Did I not? Oh, add to my voices. Okay, so here it is. So this one's going to be added now. And then now we could have a different voice and hopefully it'll generate quickly. But as you can see, if you have just basic vocabulary or whatever that you want to teach, you can easily create audio for a worksheet. And what's really cool about this is just as good as any commercial product, right? So you can create your own products. And a lot of you out there are bilingual. And so now, if you do it in English, you could also make it a book to learn Vietnamese. You can make a book to learn Khmer. You can make a book to learn Spanish. And even if you think that your language is really is not as widely spoken around the world and maybe not popular, you would be mistaken. All around the world, there's going to be people that want to learn that language. So for everybody that's bilingual, now you have two possibilities. You can make something in English and you can make something also in your own language. Uh, so I'm going to come back here and see if I've got it yet. Okay, here we go. Hopefully I got Mark now.
Hi, I want to talk about some fruits I like and don't like. I like kiwi. Kiwi is small.
Ah, Mark's a little bit better. So then I could download it and then I've got it. So now I have audio to use with my worksheet. And you can do, I mean, this is just a real quick introduction of how you can create something like this. There's a lot of different possibilities, but that was the first thing that we wanted to do. And I'm going to stop it just briefly. And before I move on, if there's a question as I go along, please ask because I'm going to be moving on from one segment to the next segment to the next segment. And it's very easy to kind of, uh, as we're moving along, you might forget the question that you had for the first part. So if you have a question as I'm doing it, don't be shy. Please type it in the chat box. All right. Oh, by the way, Hannah, how much yes, the prompt for ChatGPT is in the shared document. So if you come here, it is right here. So this is the shared document that I have. And I'm going to go ahead and put that blank again. And you can get that right here with this link. We'll put it in there one more time in the chat window so you could follow along. I have all the prompts in here. And oops, sorry, I keep on losing that. All right. Let me go ahead and put that in the chat box. Did somebody just do that for me? Oh, I only have 20 more minutes? Hello? Oh, I thought I had 50. Sorry. Uh, okay, if I have 20 minutes, I have to go quickly. Okay, that was the first one. All right, here we go. All right, here's the second thing we're going to do. We're going to do a word puzzle. So this one, by the way, is supposed to have an S here and an I here. So word puzzles are fun. There's Wordle, there's crossword puzzles. So what we're going to do next is create a bilingual crossword puzzle type activity for students. And we are going to have them have four clues and can they solve the missing word. Now, even if you don't speak Japanese, which is okay, and you're going to be able to probably figure it out based on three of the clues. So we have a word. It starts with S. It means a plan for success. Let me make this bigger here. So we have S. It means a plan for success. And the sentence is, our helped us win the game. Now, what do you guys think What do you think the missing word with S is? Any ideas? I'll go ahead and type in the first one. So if the student watches this, they're like, oh, is that strategy? I think that's strategy. And if they hit enter, bing, 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 woo, it turns green. So this is a really good activity because if you use a Google Sheet or an Excel sheet, you could actually create word puzzles and they get instant confirmation. They don't have to check something or flip the card over. If they type it in correctly, it'll turn green. So, for example, the next one is I, and it's a formal meeting to ask questions. She had a job yesterday. Ah, Sue's got it. Yeah, thanks. So it's you guys think it's interview? So notice I type it in and bing, 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 bing. It's correct. Now watch this. This is what I love about this. We don't have enough of this in education. Let's say I type it in like this. I type it in wrong. Boop. It's got to be perfect. And this game actually drives the students crazy. You'll see them like this, like because they've got to get it perfect. And if they type it in, it'll change and then off they go. Next one is hospital. Ah, see you guys, see? Once you start doing this, you can't stop. It's addictive, right? So yeah, husband. Yeah, see, you guys got it right. So this game is so fun and it's addictive. Like I do this to actually learn languages myself. I create my own sheets. So I've got to go because this is really the highlight one. We're going to show you how to do this. So we're going to come back here and we're going to show you how to make a vocabulary sheet using AI. Now we are going to use the new general service list here. And so what I'm going to do is just create a bunch of words. And if you come here to this website, you go here to word lists, and I'm going to go to new general service list. And if you click down here, these are the words that are ranked in order. So like from, I don't know, from like 1 to 3,000 or whatever. And so you can actually download these words. But I'm going to show you, we're going to do this in another language to show you how it works. So I'm going to go ahead and just take this answer key. We're just going to do this set right here. And I'm going to take these words right here. And we're going to show you how to we'll do 25. How's that? So I'm going to grab these words and then I'm going to go to Gemini. So we just did ChatGPT. Now we're going to give some love to Gemini. Gemini is actually really good at doing this. So then with Gemini, what I'm going to do is ask it a series of prompts. Now this time, what I'm going to do is, let me go no thanks there. What I'm going to do this time is do it prompt by prompt. So I'm going to come here to my prompt sheet and I have this right here. It says, the first prompt is create a simple translation in for the following words. So I will now first type in these words that I have. Oops, sorry, excuse me. So in Gemini, I'm going to pop in those words. Oops, nope, that's the wrong one. Let me go ahead and grab it one more time. Grab this one. Okay, so we're going to come here and then hopefully it's going to paste in there. My Mac has trouble pasting. No, it's not pasting here. Let me go ahead and just go this way. This might make it work better. I'm going to try to paste it in something else to make sure I got it. So you can take a set of words and then we're going to paste them in there and then just give a series of commands. And just give me 1 second here to see if I can get this in here. I hope it's going to work now. Oh, I know why. Sorry. You know what it's doing? Okay. So what I have to do is actually put it. I'm going to go ahead and show you why it's not doing what I wanted it to do. If I can find, I got so many windows open. Where is my Zoom? Let me pull this up. And here it is. Okay. So I'm going to stop share just for a second and let me share my entire screen. Okay, what happened is it put all the words together, which I did not want it to do. So now I will just put it in a text edit pad, new document here, paste it in there. And then here, now if I copy it in here, even with all the color formatting, it'll work. So I'm going to come back to Gemini and paste those words in. And now I have them in a line. Sorry. So now what I'm going to do is come back and get the first prompt. We just need the first prompt. And I'm going to say, create a simple translation in. Now I saw a lot of Vietnamese. So I'm going to put, actually, I'm going to put Spanish because Spanish is so close. People can see that it's similar. So create a simple translation in Spanish for the following words. So I'm going to come back here and I am going to paste that in there like that and hit enter and voila. So now it's just going to take a second and here it is. So notice it's given me the words, the translation. Now it's not always going to be perfect. Sometimes some words are off, but this is pretty close. Then I'm going to come back and get the next prompt. So the next prompt is create a table with 2 columns. In the left column, list the whatever the target language is, and this is going to be the Spanish words. So now I'm going to ask it to please put in the Spanish words to the left. So it'll do that, and then real quickly, it's going to make me a nice little table. Oh, I forgot to ask it to do the English words. Excuse me. So let me come back here. I think I got to change this. And the English words to the right. Sorry, I forgot to be specific. A lot of times when you do these, you have to kind of massage it, like if you don't have the right command. And I forgot that Gemini wants it to have both commands, and ChatGPT doesn't do it. It automatically puts it in 2 columns. Okay, so here I have it. Looks pretty good. So now the next thing I want to do is add a simple definition for the English words in a new column to the right. So I come back over here, paste that in there, and now it's going to give me a simple definition to the right. Then I'm going to come back and say, okay, now I have the definition. I'm going to add a simple sentence using the English word in a new column to the right. So now I want to have an example sentence. So I'm going to put that in there. And voila, it'll take just a second. And now I have my sample sentence here. So as you can see, it's just taking me a couple seconds to do this. Then I'm going to come back again and say, now create a gap fill sentence with the English word using the example sentence, put the sentence in a new column to the right. So now it's going to take that sentence and put it in a gap fill. So I do that. And then notice here, like strategy is missing here, interview is missing here, hospital is missing here, and it just took a second to do. So I did that, and voila, it's done. So now I have this word list that I could use. Now, this is Gemini's secret power. So notice Gemini's like, hey, do you want to export this to a sheet? Yes, I do. So then I just hit export to sheet. It comes down here. It'll take just a second. And then now once we have this, we can actually make some really cool activities, and that's just going to take a second to do. So now I'm going to say open in Sheets, and I have it like this. And voila, so now it is done. Now I'm going to put this over here, actually. I'm going to move it. So I'm going to now hit Control X for this one and put it in column F. You'll see why in a minute. And then I'm going to remove this, delete. All right, so now I've got this. Now, if I want to make a puzzle, I'm going to rechange this tab, by the way, rename it to answer key. So now I have my answer key. So now if I want to make the puzzle, it's actually really easy. I just go, I select the word. Now I recommend you double click it and copy it so you don't have to type it in again. And then you go format, conditional formatting. Then you come over here and you click text is exactly. By the way, this is in the notes, so I have it written down step by step. So don't worry, I know I'm going fast. You paste it in there, strategy, and then you click done. And you have a default color for green. I just always leave the default color. And I click done, and now it's highlighted. If I remove the word and then type in the word, it turns green. So I could now just add another rule or follow the same process. I'll follow the same process again. So I double click interview. That's for this cell. Format, conditional formatting, text is exactly, paste that in there, done. Now you could even go faster. Let's say I click here, hospital. I double click. I come over here, add another rule. It's already open. And then just do the same process again. And it doesn't take that long to do. Now you're thinking, oh, but wait, can I do it in Spanish? Of course, you can do it in Spanish. You can do it in any language. And I actually have activities that show you how to do this in grammar. Now, once you have this done, what I do is I duplicate it. So now I'm going to duplicate this. And I now make this the blank copy. I'm going to rename this blank. And then on the blank copy, I just remove it. And now this could be a worksheet. The student has to type in the word. And then I do another one. I duplicate it, and I call this one clue. I usually do the clue one first with the students because it helps if they have the first letter. So for example, I'll put S for strategy, I for interview, H for hospital. And so the student, I would do that for all of these, of course. And then if the student, then they get their prompt and they're like, oh, that's strategy. And what's really nice about this game is it works on spelling, it works on typing, they have to get it right, and the students get addicted to it. They totally love it. All right, but I have to go quickly because that's actually not the coolest thing about this. So, how many people use Quizlet? Quizlet is actually probably even more popular than uh, Canva. So, let's go ahead and see this. How many people actually use Quizlet? I would imagine a lot. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, yeah, all the prompts are available. Yeah. Um, yeah, so you have to paste the list into Notepad first. Yeah, that's correct. Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, because now we're gonna watch this. This is the coolest thing about this. This is gonna blow your mind. So here's an example activity that I've already made. So I've already made this activity for my students. English, right? I've made it for that. I've made it for the Japanese English here. I've made it for what else? I think I made it for the gap fill here. So now you could create so many games in Quizlet in literally 2 minutes. It takes about 2 minutes. So now what I'll do is I'll grab this here. I'm going to go ahead and make it smaller now. Let's make it much smaller. I'm going to take these words and I will now grab them. Oh, wait, no, we have the Spanish one. I'm going to do the Spanish one. Sorry. So I'll grab these words and I'll just grab them like this. Here we go. I'm going to copy that. So I just grab the column. So I'm going to come to Quizlet now, go create flashcard set with the little blue thing here. And I'll just type this Spanish for future. And then I'm just going to type demo because I don't have that much time. And then all I got to do is click import. That's it. Just click import, paste that in there. Whoop, done. That's done. It's already populated it for me. Now I go to import right here. It's going to ask me one thing. It's going to ask me to change the language in a second. Then I have to come up here and I change it now to choose the language, and I want Spanish. And I choose the language and I choose English. And voila, it's done already. It took me just a second. So then I'm going to go create and practice. And then I can go ahead and start to learn, right? And actually, I want to go back now and see the set. So now if I go to my set here, my library, it should be, there it is. So here is the set that I just made, and it's all done. And I can do things like, you can share this with your students. They can do match game, right? Where they have to try to match the words, right? I can kind of guess what these words are. Spanish is so easy because it's so close. I have no idea what those Spanish words are, but it's kind of easy. It shows you how easy it is for students to guess when they don't really know the word. You can do, if I had time, I would do maybe a Quizlet Live or something like that, but there's lots that you can do with this. If you have Quizlet Live or Blaster, you can do that. It's a lot of fun. You can take a test. There's just a lot of fun things you can do. But this is what's cool. Now check this out. So I did this one. So now I'm going to be like, okay, so I made one that's bilingual. Let's do another one now. Let's go back. And now this time we're going to do the definitions. So then I'll do again Spanish eFuture and then definitions, and then demo 2. And then I go import, and then I just paste in the words again, which AI just created for me. I click import, there it is. And this one's going to be English, English, so it's very easy. So I do choose the language, there we go, and choose the language, there we go. And then I'm going to create, and it's done. But I'm not finished yet. I can get 3 for 1. So now I have Quizlet with the definitions for matching. And one thing I like to do with my students in class is I will actually change it to start with the definition. And then if we have some vocabulary words, I'll like have a competition in class where I'll say like, okay, I'll read the definition and then the student has to say like, oh, that's a strategy. Bing, 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 you're correct. And then you can do like activities like that in class. Oh, am I done? Am I out of time, by the way? Oh, I have to probably stop, huh? I just realized, am I out of time, Sue or Hannah? 2 more minutes. Okay. So I do not have any more time, but what I can do is I do have one more thing. So I'm going to skip quizzes and the other one. I'm going to show you, we will share with you a PowerPoint. I will give it to them. Let me go ahead and share my screen one more time. One thing I just want to point out is when you do this stuff, I actually did a prompt with all of the AI tools. Oh, I didn't share. I have to share my whole screen. Excuse me. Here we go. Yep, there. That should work. Okay. All right. So I actually recently did a test, and I wanted to see like what is the different language for different AI tools. And I did something for DeepSeek, ChatGPT, Claude, Copilot, and Gemini. And I gave it all the same prompt. I said, make a conversation between two people. The conversation model uses the relative clauses. The conversation is 8 lines of dialogue. The conversation is about food and restaurants. And what was shocking is that all of the conversations were pretty much the same. And they all did a pretty good job. This is DeepSeek. DeepSeek actually used pretty much all the types of relative clauses. Then there was ChatGPT. ChatGPT did pretty good as well. ChatGPT and DeepSeek were almost similar. Claude was by far the highest level. I gave it a level of like C1, C2. It's the only one that used who's, by the way, and who, I think the other ones didn't even use who. Copilot, I thought was really good. Copilot is good for, I think it writes at a simpler language. So if you want to create a conversations, I think Copilot was the winner, actually, that it wrote the kind of the most basic but believable conversations. And then Gemini. So I just gave Gemini some love. Gemini is really good for doing like the worksheets. It was the worst at writing a conversation. I thought it didn't, everything, the formatting, the language, it just wasn't the best. And that's it. I'm done. So as always, I bit off more than I could chew. But I just want to say that if I can find how to stop sharing my screen, uh, all the steps, the prompts are in there, step by step. And if you want to write to me, you could write to me at Ello. And my email is todd@ello.org. Hopefully, maybe some of you know Ello. And that's it.